Wait a minute. This is blue! I thought I was supposed to be wearing this. It's called turning red after all. I gotta wear something red. Oh, wait a minute. That would imply I gave a crap. Okay. Pixar has made another phenomenal film. For many. Shame to say, I only see it as steps away from greatness. Look, I know the worst thing I could say. I know. Look, when I review a movie, I want to make sure I don't criticize and evaluate solely based on what I want it to be. Everyone's opinions should be their own, some are similar, but there should always be a balance when talking about what objectively works and what I want a movie to be. What might not work for me might work for others, which is something I've discussed many times beforehand, but this is a time it feels like I need to make that clear, considering the acclaim it got. I don't hate this movie, I don't even dislike it, but I'm definitely not in love with the movie as many others are, so keep that in mind. I like the movie, but I don't love it. Now let's talk about me more, so, I guess I could talk about my relationship history. Oh, right, yeah, I forgot, this is a review of Turning Red. Pixar's latest film and their third film to be exclusive on Disney Plus after Soul and Luca. Not by choice though. Yeah, when I went to go see the 355 in theaters, I saw the article that said that this was being pulled from theaters and being another Disney Plus exclusive film. Which, honestly, I wasn't sure if I'd go see it in the theaters anyways, more on that later, but I did feel bad for Pixar. I mean, it's Pixar. They are one of, if not the best animation studios of all time. I, and everyone else my age, has grown up with their movies. I mean, Toy Story came out in 1995, so now those who went to see it in theaters are definitely old now, so... I can't be too mad though. I mean, I can see why, considering most movies that are original ideas doing well are on way smaller budgets. And this movie has a budget of $175 million. I don't know for sure how I would have done, but this is an example of Disney clearly not giving Pixar the respect they should deserve. I guess I would go see it in theaters just to show them, but it's going to be a while before original concepts become box office hits again. With all of that said, I can now talk about this movie specifically. Just glad to get that off my chest, The movie is written by Julia Cho and Dami Shi, which the latter being an Oscar winner and this movie's director, and someone's name I'm pronouncing probably wrong. Anyways, this movie is based on our own childhood to some extent. Dami Shi won an Oscar for the Pixar animated short Bio. I don't know how to pronounce words, okay? I'm a writer, not a speaker. Anyways, yeah, she is the one who... anyways, that was a short film about the one where the mother eats her child made out of a steam bun. I know. It was what I wanted to see before I went to go watch Incredibles 2. It's sort of similar here. Not the cannibalism. No, with the idea being an original bizarre metaphor for a kid's movie. And I'll say this now, my biggest problem with this movie is that it's too kid-friendly, which might sound weird. Like, Pixar movies are always great family films, but where I feel like more adults will appreciate Soul than kids, considering its subject matter, I wish that I was carried over here in that sense. With that said, what's the movie about? Taking place in Toronto, Canada in the year 2002, the movie follows 13-year-old Chinese-Canadian girl Meilin voiced by Rosalie Chiang. I don't know how to pronounce names, please forgive me! A hard-working student who always tries to do her best, although it may seem like a bit too much, but she wants to make her mother, Ming Lee, voiced by Sandra Oh, proud. While she does have her close three friends, Miriam, voiced by Ava Morse, Abby, voiced by Hyein Park, and Priya, voiced by Maitreyi Ramakrishnan. I should go to hell for how bad I pronounce these names. Where they obsess over a boy band called Four Town and want to hang out more with them, but she's devoted to her mom as the two tend to their family temple where they talk about their family tradition and heritage. But not all of it. At night, May suddenly starts to feel sexual tendencies for the first time, which leads to an embarrassing moment brought on by her mother. So overnight, her body goes through changes and she wakes up as a giant red panda. Don't we all? She soon discovers when she uses high emotions, examples such as being overly excited or incredibly sad, but she'll turn into the panda. But when she's calm, she returns to her normal self. With red hair now. When it's explained to her why this is happening to her, she learns that she has about a month until she can be transferred back into normal. So until then, she must figure out how to face her changing body and personality, exploring how she feels independent, rebellious, and horny sometimes. When I first saw the teaser trailer, a girl turned into a giant red panda, I didn't get why this was a Pixar movie. Like, this concept at first I thought was kind of weak. But in the official trailer, it's clear this is a puberty metaphor. I was in! And then I saw the movie, and I wish I was in as when I saw it in the trailer, if that makes any sense. I mean, I'm about to explain, so get ready for some listening. I'm pretty sure everyone who wants an Inside Out to come out wants it to be about Riley going through puberty, since it seems to be the next logical step. But it's Pixar, and they need to balance being something both for adults and babies. Then Soul came out, and obviously both films took years, so it wasn't that they just wanted to follow Soul being more adult than kids here. It's just, it kind of showed me Pixar was taking the next step, making movies for just adults, or at least an older audience. Soul is literally about a man who dies and wants to come back to Earth so the life he lived wouldn't be wasted. Okay, what kid would be interested in that, let alone understand it like an adult would? I mean, the movie almost works, but it's so kid-friendly, and I bring this up because I forget where I read this, but I remember reading a comment somewhere saying, imagine if Pixar made a PG-13 movie. And honestly, I wish that was the case. I would have loved to see them make something like that. And this is definitely a PG movie, wanted to be a PG-13, so I guess it's a PG movie in the same sense as Gremlins. They do many adult jokes, like a kid sprays a wall with a 6, and that is probably the safest way to do a 69 joke. Heck, the mother first misunderstands May saying she's going through changes as she is having a period, which they also do probably the safest way to joke about, although I would expect a kid to ask, what is she talking about, when watching it? And that's as far as it goes. I'll get back into this later, but I should talk about more positively what I like about the movie. It's Pixar. Of course it's great. But this isn't one of my favorites, I'll say that. I had people tell me at school they loved this movie and watched it as early as they could on Friday before school started, and I get why. The movie is gorgeous. I mean, that goes without saying. It's hard to really talk about a science special since Pixar always puts the most into the little details. It's what makes them better than everyone else. They always put in the effort for every frame. But the characters add a lot too. The characters are very expressive. I like the anime eyes they're doing. That could have gone awkward, but it works here. And I do like the characters. May and Ming aren't that complex, but they're very likable, and you do understand where both are coming from. May wants to be perfect, but starts to realize what this is doing to her, and May struggling to accept her daughter changing. I like that. I think the movie does that well. I just guess it doesn't become that relatable for me. I don't know. As someone who is about to turn 18 in a month, I guess I wouldn't be the right demographic, which I do want to make clear. Pixar is for anyone of any age. But when my father came home and saw me watching this, it did dawn upon me I'm watching a kid's film. When going into it, I wanted it to be more than just a kid's film, like Soul was. I guess I can say I didn't relate to it the way many didn't relate to Onward, where I heard many people say they just didn't relate to the brothers' relationship, which I didn't get, but I do have brothers in real life I love, so it does hit home more for me. So then I guess I can see the mother-daughter relationship as much relating to my personal life, I guess. And, not to say I don't experience some things May does in this film. Obviously there are many things the character goes through that I can't say I haven't gone through, but, I mean, not to, her fault. But the characters are also the reason this film holds it back for me loving it. I said the characters were very likable, but not everyone was that complex. I mean, May kind of is. She is going through panda puberty, but not really. The panda kind of symbolizes more May wanting to rebel against her parent, which is part of many kids facing growing up, but she clearly is affected by sexual tendencies. That's why she went through changes. She drew pictures of her and her crush making out. She slightly gets aroused by people. She says awooga even. Like, I saw that clip online already. Out of context, it already has like 1 million views. But it never plays a major part of the film, though. Like, I thought the bully character, he only made fun of her because he liked her, but that's not the case. They suggest she likes another character. It goes nowhere. I mean, it's part of growing up, but it doesn't matter for the story, and the characters, once again, don't help. I think of Luca, where at first it wasn't the most grand story, but the characters were complex. You understand both Luca and Alberta as three-dimensional characters, but all of May's friends are one-dimensional. Miriam's also spunky, Abby's hyper, Priya is deadpan, and while I believe their friendship, it's just nothing special to me. I would think it'd be because they accept her as the red panda thing, but everyone seems to love her as the red panda, which I don't get. Like, I'm sure people could find this cute, but if I knew someone who could just, poof into a giant animal, I would ask more questions. Most of the movie isn't really about her changing. It's more about her trying to find independence from her mother as she wants to go to a concert with friends, and they just exploit the panda to get money. That's it. It's not just a case of not being what I want it to be. It hints at many things that don't come back into the story. Like, May is told that the red panda, if used too many times, could make the lighter side permanent, which I don't know if it meant what I thought it meant, but it doesn't really matter. Hence, she had a crush on someone. No payoff. I feel like I talk negatively too much about it, but I just wish they really took advantage of this concept when this is a good film, but not great. This movie still isn't as funny as I wished it to be. Like, that was kind of my main problem with Encanto. Like, it just wasn't that humorous. Which, yeah, obviously the comedy isn't the focal point, but it's still a major factor for, someone to watch something like this, be entertained. And, like, it starts off kind of cringy, then it gets great, and by the climax, I lost any chance to take this seriously, which is a bit much to begin with. And I'm not spoiling the movie, so it's hard to elaborate. It's just in the end, it feels more like a missed opportunity. Many people often said Soul didn't take advantage of the concept as much as it should, but that movie explored how one man didn't notice the little things that made him who he is, just like Inside Out did. But this movie isn't that, and it's fine, it doesn't have to be the same thing. But many things are ignored for a predictable story that didn't have too many laughs or many surprises. I enjoyed it though. It's just something I really don't care to rewatch as much as others do, or maybe as the other Pixar films, but maybe I'm being too cynical. I didn't think Luca was great until I watched it again and I put it on my top 10 list of 2021, so maybe I'm just not seeing it clearly as others are. I do respect it for going as PG-13 as possible in a modern day PG movie could, but I wish this was PG-13. I would love to see Pixar make a film that maybe could be R-rated someday. While I don't personally relate to the movie as much as others do, I get people who would relate to this and would love this film. And it's not a bad movie. I'd see worse already this year. But I know Pixar isn't light years away taking the next step. So as is, I'm not in love with the film. I have my nitpicks and legit criticisms. But for the others, it's another Pixar classic. That's as best as I can say it. It's just another Pixar classic for others. It's just not for me. But it's still a good movie I recommend, okay? I'm just saying that. Please don't hate me for not being in love with this movie, okay? I don't know how people in real life will treat me if they see this video and talk to me. By the way, is anyone who's ever going to see this movie say, you know what, I can relate to that girl, becoming a panda? I give Turning Red a 7.5 out of 10.